Hello, welcome to Alyssa Jean's Reviews, and this is my review for Star Trek Lower Decks Season 3, Episode 2, The Least Dangerous Game. Spoilers, of course, if you have not seen up to the end of this episode, although you probably have by now, because this is a belated review. Apologies, but I was away, was not able to get my review out on Thursday, so here it is on Monday, better late than never. I'm just going to quickly kind of throw out my thoughts on this episode. This will be another fairly short review like last week's review was, so let me dive into it. I really enjoyed this episode quite a lot. I found myself laughing quite a lot, particularly at the Boimler storyline. Maybe less so the Mariner storyline, but the Boimler storyline I thought was really good. And I wouldn't say that it stands out to me as like one of the top episodes of Lower Decks. I probably won't remember it as one of the best episodes ever or anything like that. But overall, I really found myself enjoying it. So with the Boimler storyline, this whole concept with Cratchit reminded me of the Hirogen a little bit. Those hunters, except that this was just a game or whatever. And I was actually not thrown off at all by the ending. I saw that coming. I expected that. I thought there was no way he was actually trying to kill Boimler, and then Captain Freeman would just let that happen. I think Captain Freeman knew that he wasn't really going to kill Boimler, so I never thought that there was any chance he was really actually going to kill Boimler. So it made me kind of think of my complaints for the episode of Deep Space Nine, Move Along Home, how there's all these stakes throughout the episodes, and then at the end the guy goes, "It's only a game," and so I was like, what was the point of all of that? But this was not like that at all. It made me think of that, but it is nothing like that, because it was pretty obvious that it was only a game, so I never thought that there were any stakes. And also, it's Lower Decks. It's a little different. But my favorite part is when he's chasing Boimler and he's like climbing up on the ceiling and he's hanging upside down, and Captain Freeman comes by and he goes, "Thanks for the mimosas." And just picturing this big giant creature predator dude sitting there sipping mimosas with Captain Freeman, and that just cracked me up. And then at the end, where Boimler goes, "Now the hunted has become the hunter," and he just easily defeats him and goes, "Oh yes, the hunted becoming the hunter, one of the oldest tricks in the book," or something like that. And then telling him, "Let me give you a little feedback here. You don't just announce that you're going to be the hunter turned into the hunter and just stand there." Now, I thought that this was really good. Now, the whole thing about Boimler, doing the yes man thing, I've heard comparisons to the Jim Carrey movie Yes Man, which I've never actually seen. This actually made me think more of George Costanza and Seinfeld, when he decided in that one episode that he was going to do the opposite of every instinct that he ever has, and then all these great things started happening to him, and he got a girlfriend, and he ended up getting a job at the Yankees. That's what it kind of made me feel like. It wasn't quite that. I mean, he was saying yes to everything. He wasn't really doing the opposite of what he normally did, but he was kind of doing the opposite of what he used to do. I also want to point out quickly that I really enjoyed this Boimler and Tendi pairing. I talked about in previous seasons how they need to mix up the pairings of the characters a little bit, and I was trying to think if we've ever had a Boimler and Tendi pairing before. I mean, maybe once, I don't know. It's not a common one, so that was fun. I really enjoyed that. Now, as for the Mariner stuff, yeah, I thought Ransom was being a little obtuse. Like, I mean, I know it's... I don't know. How far am I willing to take my suspension of disbelief at how incompetent these officers are? Because this was a little bit much how Ransom was just completely obtuse and just so obsessed with being a hard ass on Mariner that he actually sent the most qualified people to repair the space elevator down to the planet. And then even when they were being, this is where actually what crossed the line for me, is when they were clearly in danger, he was like, oh, just use your diplomatic skills and call for parley. That was too far for me. I didn't, that crossed the line. I thought that was way too much, a little too ridiculous. Although I did find it really funny when Mariner was flying down in that suit, and he's calling her and going, Mariner, you're right. Is that wind I hear? Oh no, it's just cold in here. Yeah, that was good. And the whole thing with Rutherford and Billups being on that planet that reminded me, it was like a combination of Justice. The episode Justice from Next Generation and the episode The Apple from the original series. Like, they all had that, like, kind of orange paint that kind of looked like that. And the volcano thing and the supercomputer thing made me think of that. I actually cracked up laughing about this just psychic baby, a supercomputer, and a sentient volcano. and Mariner's like, don't you guys think you're overdoing it a little bit? It's just kind of really making fun of Star Trek episodes and some of the tropes that are used, and how this is just completely overused. So I thought that was really good. And by the way, earlier on in the episode, they threw in this little line with the Bolian captain friend, who I guess was probably in a previous season, I don't remember him, but they threw in a line, oh yeah, he took over the Inglewood when the captain got turned into a space baby or something like that. They just kind of threw that in there. I love how they throw in these, like, Star Trek tropes, or like where weird things happen to people all the time, and like, oh, it's just not, oh, he turned into a baby, whatever. That's what happens in Star Trek. Weird things happen to people, and I guess on other ships, it doesn't get reversed because they don't have a 60-minute episode to reverse it. So this captain out there got turned into a baby or something. And lastly, I do really want to touch on the Martok thing. I was a little surprised that this is how we get to see Martok, because he was in the trailer going, this is the greatest adventure of your life. And actually, that makes a lot of sense to use him in this way, because I didn't understand why Martok would be saying that line. So in context, it makes a lot more sense. Like, why would Martok be saying this is the greatest adventure of your life? It doesn't make a lot of sense. So this, putting in context, made sense. And I thought this was great. I thought it was a really good use of Martok. Apparently there was a game like this in the 90s with like Galron in it or something. This is what I heard, that this is based on an actual game. So I thought this was a great framing device for the episode, and I got a lot of laughs out of this. It was a great use of this character. Okay, as I said, this is another quick review. I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. I will be back on a Thursday for the review of Lower Decks Season 3, Episode 3, and then I'll be back on Thursdays every week thereafter. Before I wrap things up, let me go ahead and give my rating out of 10. So my rating out of 10, with 1 being the lowest possible score and 10 being the highest possible score for Season 3, Episode 2, is an 8. Really highly enjoyed this episode quite a lot, though. It's not a 9 or a 10 type episode. It's not going to be one for the history books, but I really enjoyed especially the crotch stuff, and the thank you for the mimosas. I mean, that was so good. So good. All right. Okay, everybody, I'll see you on Thursday. Goodbye. Oh, yeah, please subscribe. Goodbye.